What's going on? Um, since we're getting close to that time in season, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of could tell some scary stories here. There's a movie from the '80s. It's called The Serpent and the Rainbow. It's also a book, and basically this ethnobotanist guy is sent. Dang, this flashlight is blowing my eyes out. He's sent to look at basically the zombie meds that they had in like Haiti or something like that. Like it's like zombification. It's like they would make people slaves over land disputes. Like basically, it's supposedly what I've heard about the scopolamine is like it totally kind of like DMT sends you into an altered state like of reality. Uh, it kind of takes the part of your brain that is responsible for making you suggestive, and it kind of opens it all the way up. That's kind of like when people do drink alcohol, they make bad decisions sometimes, and drugs and stuff. It's because that same mechanism is malfunctioning a little bit at the time when they're under the influence. You know what I'm saying? But this zombification and this, it's a form of slavery, right? The Bible talks about they will be man stealers, and that basically means if you go look that up, that's someone who takes someone and makes them a slave. And then it also says they will make merchandise of you. That's something you do when there was something called the slave trade. That was basically like the ancient stock market. It was one aspect of it, and that's in even you can watch that movie Apocalypto, and that's kind of like man stealers. That's a good example of it. And look, Shanghai, this term, they used to take Chinese opium addicts, basically. They'd have these like fake opium dens, and the dude would get real high, pass out on this bed, and this bed would flip over, and he'd fall into a cave, basically. And the pirates would come down there, give him some more opium, make him pass out, or beat him over the head with the club, take him out into the middle of the ocean, and say basically, either you work for the ship and accept your wage, or we're going to toss you over the edge of the ship. That's Shanghaiing. And in these days, we got something called going on again, and it's called human trafficking, and it's on the rise, like literally. In these days and times, they don't give a F about you to a certain, they only give a F about you to a certain extent. Like there's a certain point where they'll just give up on you. Like literally, you can just be body snatched in this day and age, and that's pretty spooky. And this ain't, I'm not even getting all necessarily totally mumbo jumbo uh paranormal activity type zombie voodoo dust, but it's related because guess what, guess how the the Caribbean and all that and Haiti and all that, it all got populated was by pirates, and that's where Shanghai comes from. So does kind of this whole concept of making a voodoo zombie, as at even making a dope fiend over in China, where the guy ends up, or an alcoholic over in Seattle, because this happened here too. That many port cities pre-America were pirate coves. You know what I'm saying? So look, piratry and merchandise. That's another thing the Bible says. It says they will make merchandise of you. You know what I'm saying? Which is a term, if you go and look in that, really, that's like a maritime term between pirates. When they come to the coast, they got to pay taxes on the merchandise that they offload. And back in the day, that used to be slaves, man stealers. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, whoa, freaking moth flew up over my phone there. Kind of kind of a little shocking thing going on there. But all this stuff, in a sense, is related. Like, listen, turning someone into a dope fiend and then being the dealer is back in the day would be called sorcery. So I mean, look, these terms are all related, and look, and then even some people call people who get deep into a drug addiction or whatever, they say they're like zombies, or they call them monsters. They call them all these like Like basically, it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and these people turn into the Mr. Hyde version of themselves. Kind of like, look, and that's kind of real similar to demonic freaking possession, because it's basically like stronghold in somebody's mind that keeps them prone to destructive behavior, and you're gonna see, some crazy stuff. Same thing with these people that are man stealers. I believe in the spiritual realm, that's really like stirring up a lot of bad black mists abroad. You know what I mean? And like, even to get more crazy, because the day and age we live in, it's like basically, they will be men stealers. They also will make merchandise of you. You got to think of this, okay? See, if it's like, there's in the Bible, once again, there's these two beasts. There's this beast of the sea. There's also this beast of the earth. And it seems to me that this beast of the sea is this kind of like piratry, like law, that is running concurrent with the laws of the land. They even say that, law of the land, like the beast of the earth. So this is like it seems to me like the, it says that there's a dragon and it's got 7 heads, and it 10 crowns, something like that, right? And it sounds like it's kind of describing a hydra type of a thing, and this through this kind of corporate, law policy. It's like, look, see, this one beast, the beast of the earth, dominates through force, or but the other one, the beast of the sea, actually dominates through policy. And through policy, you can make people kind of a commodity and sell them on the stock market. And it's another form of Shanghai. And look, like I said, human trafficking is on the rise these days. You can see down in like Mexico, they take somebody, kidnap them, and then they tell their family, we want a ransom. That's another form of this man stealing type of thing. Or and this is the type of stuff that we got going on. It's going on all around you. It's like another thing, it's like, all right, through this law of the sea, it's like the reason why that this law of the sea kind of already owns you and it's made merchandise of you is because when you're born, because of the national debt, they take the number of people and divide the debt by the number of people and say, hey, this is what you owe. But it's really just a clever form of manipulation to give them some kind of legalistic thing over you. You know what I'm saying? And from the very birth, you know what I'm saying? So in a way, through this policy, this beast of the sea is going to say that it has ownership over all the people of the whole entire freaking earth. And I mean, it's the same. That's the same type of mindset that they went into Africa and brought people to the islands and transported them across the earth to sell them as slaves. It was pirates doing that, like, because it's like it's illegal to do that to your people in your own country, but the international water laws are way different than the rules of your own country. So out on the sea, you could be a scourge and a villainous, hoodlum, but you could be a model citizen, like a pillar of the community, back home, on shore or whatever. And once again, you could just be yep, I'm just a law-abiding citizen when you're not out in the ocean, but you're doing despicable things. All the oppressed people, you sold them, you went and captured them, man stealers. So, and the same thing, like even now, capturing someone's mind and captivating them, being in a cult like Jim Jones, you can capture people through force, but you also can capture them through their mind. You can break their will, you can manipulate them, make them suggestible, use sorcery, with like spike their Kool-Aid. There's all these different ways that they are trying to literally steal us, either our mind or our body, or our very even souls.